Welcome back, 25 Years of Doom. I'm Temin.
And I'm Aces High. I'm sorry. Usually there's another person who
Yeah,
introduces themselves before me.
Red's not here today, I guess. So we're looking... last one, I swear. Megawad before you-know-what, that being Quake. We're looking at Perdition's Gate, part of the Wraith Corporation bundle we were looking at. Came with Hell to Pay. We've done Hell to Pay though, so
Mm-hmm.
so
Well, yeah, well.
this front end they prepared doesn't seem to work quite right because it said type per gate to play Hell to Pay though, and also I've got the demo for some reason, and also it's asking for which version of Doom I had, which I don't know how that's relevant to load a PWAD essentially, but you know, who am I to judge?
Does it do that every time you try to play this game?
I think it does.
Or try to load this WAD?
Yeah, it does. The
Interesting.
Wraith Corporation front end, they're also the people behind D-Zone, which the front end for that was janky too, because it would, like, instead of letting you just play any of the D-Zone WADs, it would create a temporary WAD with the map file in it.
Yeah.
It's a whole fiasco. But this is Perdition's Gate, the other half of the not Final Doom by Wraith Corporation, made entirely by Tom Mustaine and his dad, I believe, Bob Mustaine. And Tom Mustaine also wrote the soundtrack, which is largely the same as Hell to Pay's soundtrack, except I think the title screen and intermission music? Maybe?
So as in, they just took those music files and then were just like, yeah, just put them in here.
Basically, they're in a different order, but it's like the same tunes. I think
Alright,
the
so
map...
So no real, like, changes in the actual music.
Yeah, I think map 1's tune is original to Perdition's Gate, but I forget. But yeah, this was intended to be part of Final Doom. I've got it on Tom Mustaine's website, actually. The Wraith Corporation bundle here came with demos for Hell to Pay and Perdition's Gate, and I'm playing the demo right now technically, but the full version of Perdition's Gate was a lot easier to find than Hell to Pay because it's just there for free on Tom Mustaine's website, which also has information such as Perdition's Gate started out as a full 32-level WAD project started by Bob Mustaine, my dad, and Tom Mustaine, me, in an effort to create a 32-level mission for Final Doom to go along with Plutonia and TNT. Since Final Doom was in testing and packaging stages all over id for a long time, I contacted Sean Green, in charge of the master levels and Final Doom at id, and he responded positively about another 32-level pack for Final Doom, so Dad and I were off. A short time later, we were informed that the Final Doom window of opportunity had closed, so we quickly contacted Jim Elson at Wraith Corporation, who was in the completion phase on Hell to Pay for Doom 2, to be published by WizardWorks. It was decided that Perdition's Gate would be a standalone project to be published by WizardWorks, and that some of the Wraith team should assist in getting the project to shelves quickly. Wraith team consisted of some of the best Doom level designers ever, Jimmy Sybin, aka Evil Genius, and Mackie McCandish, aka Avatar. Jimmy and Mackie jumped on the project along with Jim, and Perdition Gate was quickly wrapped up as one of the most fun Doom 2 add-ons ever created. Thankfully, this wouldn't be the last time Jimmy, Mackie, and I got the chance to work together. Those guys also had a large hand in building levels for Scourge of Armagon, and of course Hell to Pay by Wraith Corporation. So, yeah, I've already beaten level 1, it seems. It's much like Hell to Pay got story in the intermission text instead of the level titles, which is a fun thing.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
Yeah.
That's always nice.
Yeah. I feel like these WADs are like obscure, but this one's like a little less so because you can actually find it and download it and play it.
Well, this one is certainly one that I've like heard of through the grapevine. I mean, I wasn't, I didn't play a whole lot of WADs.
Right.
Actually, I don't really even do that much now, but that I'm just gonna say that that's more because I don't have time.
Right, man, I love Doom mods.
It's like ROM hacks. That was the thing. When you were young and when you had the time, and I'm not young anymore, so I
like
can't
this
do
little
that.
jail cell, by the way.
I see.
It's just a little storage jail cell, but it's cute. I like it. But yeah, ROM hacks. I get what you mean because I played dozens of Super Mario World ROM hacks when I was a teenager.
Yeah. Certainly tried my hand at a couple of those, but
yeah, I did recently overload a Super Nintendo Mini with just a ton of Mario ROM hacks because I wanted to check out what I had missed. I did in fact hit the upper level limit on file storage for that thing though.
So you can still add on ROMs onto what's already there?
You can.
Wow.
There's a whole website for it. You download an app and you can just find a USB to USB-C cable and just plug the thing right into your computer and use this program to load additional games.
Cool. Well,
yeah.
I mean, certainly not. Well, I mean, okay. I mean, you have talked a few times about how some WADs are just, less intuitive than others as far as loading them up goes. But, generally speaking, WADs are supposed to be just kind of, well, not plug and play necessarily, but, you got a WAD, put it into the directory. Use the correct, load the EXE and bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
Now you're checking out this WAD.
Exactly. For the most part, it's easy as in, just running Doom with -file and then the WAD. But, sometimes you get Aliens TC where you need a specific version of Doom for it to work at all. And then you have to run the install that runs this obscure string table editor thing, and it's just a whole mess. Perdition's Gate, I don't get why it has an install. It comes with, I think it comes with two files, pg.wad and pgraw.wad, which I think they're mostly identical. They're both just like the Perdition's Gate level, and I don't know what they do, but I think the installer merges them or something. I don't know. It's very strange the way this WAD is I don't know. You could just run PG Raw, I think, with Doom 2 and it'll work. But they, I guess, insisted on having an installer. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Who can say why choices were made for things like that? But I was going to say that so far, this has been pretty, even keel, pretty straightforward, certainly in comparison to some other WADs that we've gone through.
Yeah, for sure.
But those chain gunners, after you picked up the red key, that was certainly a surprise.
Right. Yeah, this is I think so far the shortest Mega WAD we've looked at. This is full 32 maps, and I've got five videos.
Well, some WADs are just easier than others. I mean, I know generally speaking, when you're modding a game, you are pretty good at it, and then your ease of use goes into making something that's challenging for you.
Right.
But, if this, I mean, I don't want to, say anything about, a son and a father-son, outing, but it certainly seems that, perhaps they were not as masochistic as some of the other design teams.
Right.
At least so far.
Yeah, I'll take it, to be sure. Yeah. One thing I've kind of observed about Perdition's Gate is, a lot of the levels kind of feel the same.
So far, we've just been hanging around, Tech Base.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of tech base in this map. The secret levels are actually something special. We'll be seeing those in a couple videos, but for the most part, it kind of feels like this is Perdition's Gate. We get some like Quake-looking textures a bit later, but it's all just kind of like outdoorsy, tech-based kind of maps, I think.
You're certainly taking a bit of a beating here.
Yeah, it's
That just seems to be kind of not great positioning for some of this.
yeah. Luckily, they've given me plenty of health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we need to get up to that central tower dealie at some point. There's keys abound, but you know we got to find keys to get keys, as the old saying goes.
So we're like 3 levels. This is the 3rd level. We still don't have like a super shotgun or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Slacking behind Doom 2's pace.
well, yeah, but I mean, at the same, I mean, I don't think it was until like 4th, 5th level, and then of course, depending on what difficulty you're in, that we saw like anything more challenging than, you know, chain gunners and specters.
Right, right. That's true.
So,
just gonna ditch this trap altogether, I guess.
well, you know, just slide on out of there. Leave the hit scanners to themselves.
Yeah, they don't have time for their nonsense.
I got the feeling that a couple of them must have hit each other, so something must have
Probably.
started.
Some sort of kerfuffle likely ensued.
Mm-hmm. But you don't need to be there for that, so it's not a problem.
It's, sort their own laundry, I guess. Oh wow, apparently, due to this being a Wraith Corporation published deal, Tom Mustaine actually didn't have the rights. Oh wow, WizardWorks was bought by GT Interactive, and then I guess this was tied up in rights hell a little bit, and then...
Aren't they the ones that, didn't they publish Quake? GT
They published,
Interactive?
yeah, they published, starting, I think, with Doom 2, all of its, like, games that came on CD.
Oh, so they did Doom 2 as well? Okay, I definitely knew that they did, Quake. I couldn't remember if they did, Quake 2 as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They had at least a brief stint
Definitely
with id.
Quake.
Yeah.
But, well, that's pretty interesting. So this was still, like, something that you bought.
Yeah.
So-
I couldn't tell you, like, what store shelves
Where
you'd
to
find
go.
it on, but...
That's so fascinating to think about because, like, that's not really what I think of, like, when I think of WADs. I just think of them as being, you know, spread around through Unix groups and things like that, and then later, you know, being posted on websites and stuff like that, and you somehow, well, I guess the file sizes weren't huge, but, you know,
you
still
could fit a
probably spend a bit of time, you know, one evening going, no one use the phone! I'm downloading a WAD!
Right. Yeah, you could totally fit, like, a ton of Doom WADs on, like, a CD, which WizardWorks did. They are responsible for D-Zone. Some 3,000 odd WADs.
Right.
None of which I'm sure they own.
That doesn't stop them from, you know, making money.
I guess not. I have to wonder how much money they made off of D-Zone, and then how much money they made off of this, you know? I can't imagine it was terribly much.
Well, I mean, you know, like you said, I mean, where would they have distributed? I just can't even imagine. But at the same time, I don't even know, like, when it came to, you know, the shareware models and things like that. By the time I was old enough to really be into that, or at least by then, shareware had changed to the Quake model, which, you know, you could have the whole first episode on the CD and things like that. And then, you know, you just go to the store and buy the full thing. But, you know, you look at all the old Apogee stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, send a check in the mail or whatever, and then you'll get a bunch of floppies back. And just going,
right.
Can you still do that? It's 1997.
I don't know.
Can I still get this game? Can I still get Commander Keen?
I feel like there's some like retro gaming YouTube channel I've seen recently that has bought like floppy disks from a game's creator,
Really?
In the modern era.
Wow.
I forget what that game would be, but I swear I've seen it recently. Maybe Lazy Game Reviews, or maybe like Ross's Game Dungeon or something.
That wouldn't surprise me, considering that he went and actually bought a license for WinRAR.
Right? Man. I think we have some dirty dealings with WinRAR in our near future, actually. Windows is coming.
Right, of course. We'll finally move out of the DOS interface.
Yeah, the future is now.
But that is that's quite something, especially since you when you were showing off the what was it in Wolfenstein? Not Airwolf, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Going through the maze. And
right. Aardwolf?
Yeah, there we go. Aardwolf. Airwolf. It was close.
You're almost there.
And how you would need to have a specific release to actually be able to see that, because then after so many people found it and were calling the number, they're like, oh my god, okay, yes, you found Aardwolf, good for you, now stop calling us.
Imagine there's some other alternate universe where nobody dumped the graphics and they actually made the contest thing happen. What would the prize have been, A free copy of Wolfenstein? You've already got it, though.
You've already got it. It's like, in a world where there's the id channel, sort of like there was the Sega channel.
Right. Oh man, the Sega channel.
They definitely would have had enough content, I think, for that.
Right.
And especially if you get some kind of a partnership or something going with all of the WADs that were being made. But then again, I don't know how expensive it would have been to, continue paying to host. I mean, Sega can have a channel, just like Nintendo can have a channel, because it's Sega. They're selling their consoles, they're selling their games. id has games that they give to publishers to publish for them.
Right, yeah. Jeez.
So we're still just hanging around UAC.
Yep.
UAC.
Can't get enough of them. I like that little sign texture they made. I just had a thought. The recent port of Doom to the Unity engine by id Software has WADs, and Tom Mustaine, I believe, is still part of id Software as far as I know. At least
Really?
He was back in 2016. I have no reason to believe he's not still there. I'm wondering why Perdition's Gate is not a WAD you can download yet for that port.
Maybe they... I don't know. What's the popularity of Perdition's Gate compared to other WADs that have been ported? In that sense.
Fair point. I can't imagine terribly much, but they did. They have the master levels for Doom 2 in there, so I figure why not. Plus, the guy who made the WAD is still with id.
Good point. I mean, that was another thing that I'm sitting there going, yeah, sure, if he made it. I mean, what the heck's stopping you from taking something that you made and putting it out there like that? But I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just...
I don't know. I get the feeling that perhaps there is something that has to do with demand. So, like, if people are just going to be like, oh, Perdition's Gate, there's a few people are like, oh yeah, Perdition's Gate, awesome, gimme, gimme,
Right.
gimme. And then everyone else is like, what's this? Some wad from, back then. I've never heard of this. I know what Plutonia is. I know what TNT
Right.
is.
Right. Boy, I sure do know what Plutonia is.
I know what Memento Mori is. Somehow.
Yeah,
Well, actually, I can think of reasons why they would know about that.
Yeah, there's probably hard to get permission of all the authors on that. I think some of them have probably passed away even.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
sadly true.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
gosh. Yeah.
Well, perhaps, I don't know, perhaps something like this might, make him realize, oh, I guess there is interest in that. I'll get on it when I have time.
This
Who
video
knows?
that will probably have 200-ish views that will be responsible for getting Perdition's Gate on the Unity port.
Well, you never know. I feel like I have seen LPs with just as much visibility. The next thing you know, oh, hey, Steam's got a sale on the game that's being played right now. How did they know?
Makes you think.
I'm sure there are algorithms and things like that paying attention to this. I think. I don't know. Well, I can certainly understand why there isn't a whole lot of change in like texture and general look, aesthetic, since we're just hanging around UAC and just doing more UAC stuff.
Yeah, they like these silver blocky textures a lot, I've noticed. Not the biggest fan, but hey, it's fresh new textures.
Yeah, it's something different, so that's good. It's nice.
Yeah, we're just in UAC territory for a while. We've got UAC main lobby, UAC executive areas interlock, executive areas recreation / yard, executive areas storage area. Just UAC for a long time in this WAD.
Sub basement. Now we're going to an exit somewhere.
Yeah, so I'll take it, I guess. Oh, this is a map I died on, it seems.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was just like, uh-oh. I guess it is harder than I thought.
The first level to bite back.
There hasn't been anything that you've done where you have gone through completely unscathed, is there? I feel like there's probably something that you've gone through that you were just like, no, I was so close, but I died. Damn it.
I mean, so Wolfenstein Episode 1. Technically Doom 1, Episodes 1 through 3. But until I decided to pistol start the Spider Mastermind because it was too easy.
Gotcha.
Would have been Doom 2 if I hadn't messed up and shot a pain elemental, but alas. I think those are the closest I've gone to completing things without deaths.
Okay, alright. Well, I was just thinking that. It's like, well, pretty experienced that you're able to go through all of this stuff on Ultraviolent. Right? You are on Ultraviolent for this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Skill 4 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All 4, all doors.
Except in some things where you're just like, no, I did this once, we showed it off, we're not doing this.
Yeah, that was more of a
which we
mistake
will
than
see
anything.
in an upcoming game.
Right. Yeah, that's true. All skill 4 for Doom.
Right.
It's all that needs to be said, I guess. Yep, still rocking Ultraviolence keyboard only.
Oh, well, I suppose
Will
that
I
makes
get a mouse? The answer is, I had a mouse when I played Wolfenstein.
I feel like I had a mouse when I played Wolfenstein, but I didn't use it because like when I loaded it up, it was like, oh, got a keyboard. So, these are the keyboard controls. So I don't think it was until...
That was a complete gimme, by the way.
What? The
Megasphere? Just completely obvious secret.
Ah, I see. Not tying it too difficult. Not making it hard to get.
Yep, I'll take it.
What I'm trying to say. I don't think it was until like late 90s, like possibly even like year 2000 or something like that, when I actually started using mouse for shooters. And it probably was... Okay, it was probably when Quake 2 came around, but I didn't play Quake 2 like on my own. Like I saw my relatives playing it and things like that when it was brand new in '98, but I didn't really get to experience it until like probably '99 or 2000 or something like that. So shooters for me, like, and even then, I think I was doing some weird left hand on the arrow keys for some stupid reason until probably my brother was like, why are you doing that? You can use WASD for movement. What?
Right.
Yeah. Why are you doing that? That's so stupid. That you're making this harder on yourself for no reason. But then again, I have lots of experience of doing that with games.
No,
so
I had a similar experience of having left hand on the arrow keys and right hand on mouse and not adopting WASD for a long time.
Although it is fascinating now to learn that like the first game to like actually have WASD and shoot, I think like even different versions from there was System Shock. Like System Shock, you could do like completely without mouse look, and so then you would just use the arrow keys. But if you did have a mouse, then they planned for that, and you also had WASD, and you had, I think it was ESDF if you were really weird. But then again, because it hadn't been standardized, it was only 1994, they had it there as an option, and I believe the reason because of that was because of the fact that F has just because of the fact that that's where your index finger goes for the whole home row typing thing.
The little home row indent.
Yeah, yeah. So it was just like, well, since your index finger naturally just rests there, that can be your turn right or your strafe, depending on how you want to map it. And so that was why. So that was an option as one of the key layouts. But it didn't really take off. So it's there as one of those. Wow, that is weird to think about. We're in an alien land, and now all these years later, it's like that's really weird to think about. But at the time, it was the wild, wild west. So.
Right, I'm just thinking of this. I think it was a review for like an Aliens game for the PlayStation, where the reviewer described the nightmarish controls of movement with the left stick and aiming with the right stick.
Yeah, I think I've heard about that, where it's just like, the game is like a horror game, but you never would have guessed it was because of how god-awful it is just to try to play. Man. I don't believe that is like exactly, but like I'm pretty sure that is like where they were going with it.
Right.
This is a horror game, and you've made it so much more horrifying just because it's such a bitch to try to control.
Yeah, but it's like
do this? Why did you do this?
It's like what became the standard for controls in an FPS.
Yeah,
it's crazy. The intermission texts here are unchanged because they did not do any dehacked work. They put all the story in the level transitions.
Fair enough.
And then you just get this incongruous story from Doom 2, yeah, every now and then.
Oof.
Yep. It's hit scanners.
That wasn't too bad though.
Not the worst. Yep.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all right. It's fine.
So far, so good. Not the worst. Not the best, but
Yep. Exactly.
Next time there will be more gates into Perdition or something.
All right. Sounds good.
Yup. The end.
See ya.